Hello humans. It's been a while. I've been gone for about 6 months and I've got nothing to say really outside of the fact that sometimes life takes you in directions you don't expect and you kinda have to roll with the punches. Not all the punches are bad, some of them are good. They wake you up and open your eyes to things you didn't know you were looking for, while others are bad and can leave you more incapacitated than you might have expected. But one of the punches that has left the most impact on my life was one that started almost 20 years ago with a dear little console you might be familiar with called the Nintendo GameCube. And it's a big part of why I'm here talking to you today. I guess you can consider this video half analysis and half story time, so sorry if there isn't any fancy editing. I'm just gonna throw on some of my old gameplay in the background for you to all enjoy if you so desire. So, at this point, you've all seen the title of this video, at least I hope you have, and that's why you clicked on it, but I guess I should also turn this question towards you as well. Have any of you guys ever sat and actually thought about why you play Fire Emblem? What is it you like about it? Why were you drawn to the series in the first place, and what keeps you going? Ultimately, Fire Emblem has just turned into something of a comfort zone for me, something I can always come back to and lose myself in regardless of what point I'm at in my life. It feels safe and it feels familiar, and I'm glad to have found some meaning in something that seems so trivial. And please, I'm actually encouraging you here to share your experiences in the comments below. I do like to see how people differ towards their outlooks towards the series, and hey, you guys can maybe exchange some notes and thoughts. I think that's fun. Anyways, for me, I'm one of the people who will forever be responsible for that meme that defines Smash Bros. Melee as the first Fire Emblem game that came to the West, because I'll be perfectly honest, Marth and Roy were two badass sword fighters in that game and were always intriguing to me. That and the Fire Emblem music in Smash was also amazing, so that helped too. But as a young kid walking through the R-Zone at Toys R Us back in the day, I couldn't help but be drawn to the box art of Fire Emblem Blazing Sword. Back then, I was stupid, and I guess you could say I still am in some way, but back then I thought that Eliwood was Roy and that Hector was some form of Marth, but holding an axe, and so I bought the game then and there without really thinking. Now, if you know anything about old school Fire Emblem games, these games are not very forgiving when you're a kid. Seriously, permadeath, having to think about actual strategy, RNG being a core element of gameplay and just not being familiar with the strategy RPG in general, that's just a lot of learning curves that one has to sit down and adapt to. I wish I was kidding when I say this, but I was playing Lyn normal mode, obviously, and by the last chapter of that mode I only had 4 units left. Lyn, Nils, Wallace, and somehow Sarah. Don't ask me how I remember, I just do. And I didn't know that you could reset to bring back your characters back then. All I was focused on was having fun and getting through the game. I had realized that you get more and more characters as chapters go on, and so I just rolled forward with what I was given. And thus, that was the birth of my first ever Iron Man experience. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure you guys are thinking, aren't Iron Mans kind of deterring for a new player? Well, yeah, maybe, if you actually abide by the rules of the run being over when the Lord dies, but here I was just playing the game, the way the developers had intended, and having some blind fun. Every chapter was a fresh experience, every character was a new toy to play with and experiment with, and I got to watch some cool, flashy animations of medieval characters duking it out. What's not to like there? I wasn't worried about missing out on items, I wasn't worried about getting all the Gaiden chapters, and I certainly wasn't worried about recruiting every character, because I'll tell you right now, I missed out on every recruitable enemy character in the game in my first run through. My only focus was playing the game and having fun, and I think that's something that we have all forgotten how to do these days. A lot of what I see in the community now revolves around these games either wasting or not respecting your time, permadeath is bad because it makes me reset, animations take too long so I turn them off, the story is bad so it isn't worth reading, enemy phase reinforcements are bad because they're surprise elements and so I can't fairly react to them, the maps are too big or are poorly designed so you waste your time moving units around or doing things that are tediously time consuming. Do any of these complaints sound familiar? I could go all day. And look, I get it. Time is something that we have less and less of as we get older and have more responsibilities. Heck, why do you think I've been gone for the last 6 months? Life happens. But the point I'm trying to make, without being too preachy, is that once upon a time, there were a lot of things that we found charming about Fire Emblem. And the more I look into nitpicking those very things I didn't like, the less I've enjoyed playing the more recent entries in the franchise. Now, sure, not all these complaints are null and void, I must admit, and I, for one, would absolutely love if certain things were tweaked and modified, but what made Fire Emblem fun for me when I was younger was that fresh, new, blind experience that you'll never have twice. I find myself thinking about that a lot lately and how I'd like to start reapplying it to games I play from now on. Just let myself jump into something with no prior knowledge and with no fear of missing out, and just letting myself have that experience. Being someone who tends to reflect a bit on things in my spare time, I've grown to appreciate the fact that fear of the unknown and allowing yourself to be influenced by external pressure are two things that are able to ruin even the best of experiences. And sometimes you just have to put your foot down and say enough is enough. This is my experience, and I'm going to have it to the fullest. So, what if I have to replay it to unlock everything or look for things I've missed? If I like the game enough, I'll gladly do so, and if I don't, well, the internet exists to fill in the void for the things I did miss. You literally can't lose here. So anyways, that's a quick tangent that I guess my subconscious decided to take me down as I reminisced about my first Fire Emblem experience, but there's a bit more to the story because I've obviously kept playing since then. And as I thought about it, I think I've finally come up with the main reason that I play and continue to keep playing Fire Emblem over and over and over again. And that's the RNG. Now, yes, I do mean this both literally and figuratively at the same time, but the fact of the matter is that no two of your playthroughs of any game will ever be alike. You'll experiment with different characters, different strategies, and different unit types if you're playing the more recent games. Your level ups can and will vary wildly, and so can your in-battle experiences, because even if you see that juicy 99%, that's still a 1% chance that you'll miss. And vice versa. I don't think I can even count the number of hours I've sunk into Fire Emblem just going back to replay the games so I can use characters I didn't use in prior playthroughs. Even if I know the story, and even if I know all the gameplay surprises, what I don't know is how that character is going to play out in this playthrough. That's what makes Fire Emblem so addictive, the replayability. Unfortunately, modern Fire Emblem has started to move away from that, since, while units still vary wildly, we don't really have an equivalent for Fire Emblem 7's Hector Hard Mode's 19XX, or Radiant Dawn's Peleus recruitment criteria to force the player to replay if you want to accomplish those things yourself. And I honestly think that's a bit of a shame. Small things like that help target the more dedicated player base that wants to go back and revisit these games to sweep them clean of all their secrets, and I'd love to see more of them. I'm honestly still not sure what footage I'm going to be using in the background of this video, but I have both a Three Houses Let's Play and an FE7 Iron Man on this channel, both of which were very entertaining in their own ways. And for the sake of this example, I'll use my FE7 Iron Man. I can say with absolute certainty that despite having played through FE7 what feels like 20 plus times over the years, I have never had a Lucius turn out that powerful. I've also never done an Iron Man run of FE7. Well, an intentional Iron Man run, I'll say. That run was also a draft, where my stream chat limited me to select groups of units that I was allowed to use. And just like this run, the options for theme runs for yourself, the customization, and the replayability are endless in your own Fire Emblem games. And that's what makes this series so addicting to play, outside of the obvious adrenaline of using things like devil weapons or the dopamine rush of watching fancy critical animations, of course. But anyways, that's about it for this video. I don't want to go on too long of a rant, but I wanted to share a few stray thoughts I've been having for a while and just pop back in with a casual video to say hi and that I'm back and I've missed you all dearly. Despite what it may seem, this channel has been quite an important part of my life for the last 4 years or so, and I appreciate all the people who've stuck around and given me their time. I do remember all of your names in the comments, and I do notice when someone comments multiple times on my videos, and I'm thankful to have the supportive viewership that I do. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season, and hopefully I can see you all in another video before the end of the year. Peace.